So it's been an honor in conducting the virtual power seminar and the inaugural session of ICT. So it's always a pleasure, whenever the coordinator, Ms. Farhan, or the principal of AIMAN College of Arts and Science, Dr. Subhashni, stretches out to initiate any particular program in the college with all the support they have. So it would always be motivating and supportive. So right now on board we have before the introduction of the speaker, I'll just give you a few instructions that you need to follow. So the main instruction is that kindly put your mic on mute. அதாவது உங்க மைக் வந்து மியூட்ல போட்டுக்கோங்க. நீங்க மைக் அன்மியூட் பண்ணிட்டு கொஞ்சம் சவுண்ட் வந்துருச்சுனாலே you kind of have a disturbance and will not be fine to proceed with the session. So I request you all to kindly put your mic on mute. அதுக்கப்புறம் நீங்க உங்களுக்கு எதுவும் டவுட்ஸோ இல்லை எதுவும் கிளாரிஃபிகேஷன்ஸ் இருந்ததுன்னா ensure that you put that in chat window so that the speaker will be constantly having an eye on the chat window. So உங்களுக்கு சரோட செஷன்ஸ்ல எதுவும் obviously be bilingual. So சரோட செஷன்ல if there's any queries that you want to ask, you can actually put it up in your chat window and sit back, listen to the words from an inspiring person. You literally have an amazing session ahead. So with these words, I'd like to jump into the introduction of the speaker. So our speaker for the day for goal setting topic is Mr. Vasanth. He was born in the year 1983 in New Delhi, who was into a Tamil family. He was relocated to United Arab Emirates along with his parents and settled down in the capital city of Abu Dhabi. He completed his high school education at Cambridge High School in Abu Dhabi, and then he went to do his bachelor's in BSc Computer Science and MBA in Australia. So he came back to Chennai in the year 2007 and he decided to settle down there. So he joined Allsec Technologies on the year 2007, and he worked up from an entry-level employee to the head of corporate communications, HR. So during his time in Allsec, he has worked as a communication trainer, head of recruitment and onboarding. So sir is one of the most important resources we have in ICT Academy. He has constantly been a pillar of support for all the initiatives taken from us, and it is so special and it is so honored to have you amongst us, sir. Thank you so much for accepting the request and coming up here to give up your inspiring words and your words of motivation for the budding first year students of this respected institution. With no time to waste, I'd like to hand over the session to the speaker of the day, Mr. Vasanth. The session is fully for you, sir. It's all yours.
Thank you, Alan. I'd also like to take this opportunity and thank AIMAN College of Arts and Science for Women for inviting me, and of course ICT Academy for giving me this opportunity. But ஆரம்பிக்கிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி just want to check with all of you, since I do have the chat window open. It's very important that when I conduct sessions like this, I first understand my audience. So I'll ask a quick question. How do you want me to speak to you today? Do you want me to speak in just English, or do you want me to speak in a bit of both English and Tamil? So you can enter your answer in the chat window and let me know how you want me to conduct this session. Only in English or both in English and Tamil? என்னால் ஃபுல்லாக தமிழில் பேச முடியாது, but I can do, or I can manage both English and Tamil, because sometimes it can be a little too much. ரொம்ப இங்கிலீஷ் பேசினாலும் கொஞ்சம் ஓவராக இருக்கும், ரொம்ப தமிழ் பேசினாலும் it will defeat the purpose. So I think I'll speak with the right balance of both Tamil and English. So again, a very warm good morning to all of you. I hope all of you are safe and sound at home. The situation of this COVID pandemic is not something any of us ever expected that we would experience in our life. I mean, எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் in my entire life, I never thought I will experience a lockdown. ஒரு லாக்டவுன்ல நம்ம எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் பண்ணுவோம்னு நான் எதிர்பார்க்கவே இல்லை. So this is a very unusual time. I think that's the right word. This is a very unusual time. What was once upon a time normal is now not normal, and what was once upon a time not normal is has become normal. So times are changing, and it's important that as millennials, such as yourself, it is important that we adapt ourselves to the coming days. So I will go ahead and get this started. So thank you, Alan, for that wonderful introduction. And yes, my name is Vasant Raghavan. I have been working in a company called Alsec Technologies, which is in Chennai, and I have been there for about 14 years. And yeah, I started as an entry-level employee, and today I work as manager, and I head something called corporate communication. So I understand that your college is located in Trichy. Is that correct? Oh, sorry, Trichy, as it is supposed to be pronounced. Lovely. So I have very fond memories of Trichy. I have come to Trichy many times. So during my days as a communication trainer in Alsec, my company had an office in Trichy, believe it or not. So I think you all know the school, Campion School, which is in Cantonment. So we actually had an office in Trichy, and I used to visit Trichy often. And I actually fell in love with Trichy the first time I came. You know, very friendly people. It's a very clean city, and I've had wonderful, experiences there. And I actually miss visiting Trichy now. But sadly, we closed our office, so I have no reason to visit Trichy anymore. I used to visit colleges in Trichy whenever ICT Academy, reached out to conducting seminars. But now, since travel is no longer an option and everything is now online, I'm really looking forward to visiting your lovely city once again. So having said that, let's get to it. So like I said, இப்போ நம்ம இருக்கிற situation ரொம்ப unusual. இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு situation நம்ம இருக்கும்னு எதிர்பார்க்கல. And நிறைய பேர் நியூஸ்ல படிச்சிருப்பீங்க, இந்த மாதிரி இந்த கம்பெனி க்ளோஸ் டவுன் பண்றாங்க, இந்த கம்பெனில சம்பளத்தை கொடுக்கல, இந்த கம்பெனில சம்பளத்தை குறைக்கிறாங்க, people are losing jobs. You must have heard all of that in the news. But that's the news, and the news and the media is notorious for only projecting the negative. Okay, you don't rarely find any good things that come in the news. Always something bad happens, it will come in the news. So we have become so used to seeing only the bad things that are happening around us that people have stopped realizing there are a lot of good things that are happening as well. Just because companies are closing down, just because companies are not paying salary, or companies are sending people home or laying off people, that does not mean that that's actually not true. So I was told that my topic for you is if the admin puts everybody on mute, then I also will go on mute. So if someone is going to press the mute all button, please let me know so that I know to unmute myself. So கடைசியா நான் என்ன சொன்னது உங்களுக்கு கேட்டுச்சு, because I'm in 3 groups right now, but one of the groups did a mute all, so they could not hear me. Can someone from the group that I got muted tell me what was the last thing you heard? Okay. Oh, okay. So you see a lot of these bad things that have happened in the news. Companies are facing this problem, companies are facing that problem, business is down, profits are down. But அதை பத்தி நீங்க கவலைப்பட வேணாம், ஏன்னா நீங்க எல்லாம் first year students, and you still have plenty of time for the entire economy of this country and the world to come back to normal. But நீங்க படிப்பு முடிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் கூட after 3-4 years things will be different. முன்ன இருந்த மாதிரி இருக்காது. Okay, a lot of things has changed. And we need to equip ourselves and be ready for what's to come. So na sonna mari, I was told that my topic today was called goal setting. And I think it's a pretty good topic and a very important one, given the fact that you're all in first year. It's important to have goals, it's important to set targets, but more importantly, this is the time to improve yourself. Because it was enough, you could get a job. But now, even if you are educated, even if you have completed a degree in college, that is not enough. There are still many more things that you are needed. And this is where I'm going to focus on what are the goals you need to set. Now, I like to keep my sessions interactive. And it's, Friday, it's a Saturday. For some of you, it's the weekend. For some of you, weekend is going to start. And, I don't want to be the one to talk and, keep you all a little sleepy. So I'd like to keep my sessions with you interactive. So I'm going to ask you all a very simple question. And most of my questions will not require you to type long answers. It will be closed-ended or 1 or 2 words you'd have to type. So here's my first question for all of you. So how many of you remember what you studied in class 4 or class 5? Class 4, class 5, you just have to say yes or no. So again, I request all the group admins that if you are going to mute everybody, to please let me know, because sometimes I may not realize it and I just keep talking and that group will, not hear me. So mute பண்ணதுக்கு முன்னாடி என்கிட்ட கொஞ்சம் சொன்னீங்கன்னா I can be ready. Okay, so the question was, how many of you still remember what you learned in class 4 or 5? Do you still remember that? Okay, lovely. I'm getting a lot of answers. So there are a few people that said yes, and then some people said, yeah, I remember a little bit, and some people said no. But the truth is, 90% of you would not remember what you studied in class 4 or class 5. Because what you studied in class 4 or class 5 or class 6 or even class 12 for that matter is knowledge. And knowledge is something that will come and go. Knowledge is இப்போ ஒரு நாளைக்கு ஞாபகமா இருக்கும், but next day or a few months later you will not even remember it. And that is what knowledge is. But now here's another question. Okay, you are 10 years old. Okay, you're 10 years old and I give you a cycle and I teach you how to ride the cycle. And நீங்க நல்லா பிராக்டிஸ் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க. நல்லா பிராக்டிஸ் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் சைக்கிளை சூப்பரா ஓட்டுறீங்க. சரியா, கை இருந்து ஹேண்டில் பார்ல எல்லாம் ஓட்ட முடியுது உங்களால. ஸோ அதுக்கப்புறம் ஒரு 2-3 இயர்ஸ் நீங்க சைக்கிளே ஓட்டல. ஓகே, ஒரு 2-3 இயர்ஸ்க்கு பிரேக் எடுத்திருக்கீங்க. திருப்பியும் நான் 2-3 இயர்ஸ் கழிச்சு உங்களுக்கு சைக்கிள் கொடுத்தா கஷ்டப்படுவீங்களா, or it will be easy for you? Will you be able to ride the cycle easily even if you have a break for, let's say even 5-6 years or 10 years for that matter? So when you were 10 years old, you were riding the cycle, and then 10 years ku neenga cycle ottla. Now you are 20 years old. 20 years old modu, if someone gives you a cycle, will you be able to ride the cycle? Same thing with swimming. You learned swimming when you were little, but even if you don't swim for 4-5 years, 6 years, and then suddenly you find yourself in a river or a well or a pond, you can at least still manage, right, to stay afloat. Okay, so let me get this straight. Some of you are saying yes, some of you are saying no. So நீங்க வந்து 2-3 இயர்ஸ்க்கு சைக்கிள் நல்லா ஓட்டுறீங்க. 2-3 இயர்ஸ் கழிச்சு நீங்க சைக்கிள் ஓட்டுறது நிறுத்திட்டீங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் நான் திருப்பி உங்ககிட்ட சைக்கிள் கொடுத்தா உங்களுக்கு கஷ்டமா இருக்கும். That's not possible. That is definitely not possible. If you are someone who has been riding a cycle for many months or many years and you have had a lot of practice, even if you take a break for a long time and if you take up that skill again, it is not going to be difficult. For example, நான் கடைசியா சைக்கிள் வந்து almost 10 years இருக்கு சைக்கிள் ஓட்டி. இன்னைக்கும் என்கிட்ட யாராவது ஒரு சைக்கிள் கொடுத்தா என்னால ஈஸியா ஓட்ட முடியும். And that is the case with most people. So perhaps you may have not understood my question. சைக்கிள் நல்லா ஓட்டுறீங்க, நீங்க உங்களுக்கு நல்லா ஓட்ட தெரியும். அதுக்கப்புறம் ஒரு பிரேக் எடுக்கிறீங்க 4-5 வருஷம். திருப்பியும் 4-5 வருஷம் கழிச்சு நான் சைக்கிள் உங்ககிட்ட கொடுக்குறேன். அப்போ டெஃபினட்டா டிஃபிகல்ட்டா இருக்காது. It will still be something that is in you. It is part of you. Okay, and that is what skill is. அதான் knowledge and skill க்கு வித்தியாசம். Knowledge is something that will come and go. இன்னைக்கு நீங்க something you learned today, you will forget after a few days or a few months. But skill in it, once you master it, once you have become good in a skill, lifelong it will stay with you. You will never forget that skill. And that is what makes skill skill. Once you master a skill, it will stay with you forever. And that is what the need of the hour is. You go to any job interview, you go for anything in life, for success and for succeeding, you need skills. And today, I am going to talk to you about 4 different skills that are absolutely needed. Since you are in the first year, you have plenty of time. Normally, my sessions will be with 3rd year and 4th year students. கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டமா இருக்கும் ஏன்னா 3rd year 4th year students time கிடைக்காது. But because you are in the first year now, you can set your goals according to the skills that I am going to talk about now and plan. Because I can guarantee you that after 3-4 years, when you go for job interviews, only 20 to 30% of weightage will come from your college education. But the remaining 70%, the company is going to see what are the skills that you have. So, like I said, today's discussion is going to be on skills. Okay. Now, there are a lot of skills in the world right now. You have, people skills, you have interpersonal skills, you have negotiation skills. And many skills are there. The first skill that I'm going to talk about now is something called communication skills. So here's my first question. In the group of all the students here, how many of you can honestly say that every day, at least for 5 to 10 minutes, I speak in English? Can anyone say that? Can anyone here tell me, at least for 5 to 10 minutes, நான் தினம் இங்கிலீஷ்ல பேசுறேன்? அந்த மாதிரி யாராவது இருக்கீங்களாங்க? Okay. There are a few that are saying no, there are a few that are saying yes. Again, நான் வந்து பண்ண போறீங்களான்னு கேட்கல. நீங்க இவ்வளவு நாள் பண்றீங்களான்னு கேட்கிறேன். At least 10 to 15 or 5 to 10 minutes இங்கிலீஷ்ல பேசுறது. ஓகே, அப்படின்னு நீங்க டைப் பண்ணுங்க. அப்படின்னு நீங்க அன்மியூட் பண்ணி பேசாதீங்க. நான் எல்லாரையும் சேட் பண்ணதான் சொல்றேன். ஏன்னா அதான் ஈஸி. ஏன்னா எல்லாரும் பேசிட்டீங்கன்னா கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டமா இருக்கும் மேனேஜ் பண்ணது. ஸோ உங்க ஆன்சர் வந்து சேட் விண்டோல போடுங்க. Okay. So most of you have said no, and a few of you have said yes. So you have to understand that. Do you know that India is the youngest country in the world? Now in the statement சொல்றேன், India is the youngest country in the world. Is it true or no? Okay. So when I say India is the youngest country in the world, I don't mean the age of the country. I mean the average age of the population. So when I say India is the youngest country in the world, what I am saying is that the majority of the population, okay, so you have BA English, so no wonder you guys speak in English. Okay, I'm talking about the non-BA English people. Okay. So when I say India is the youngest, country in the world, I mean that the average population of India is young compared to other countries. Okay, so right now, India has the most number of youngsters across the world. And while the rest of the world, the population is getting old, India is continuing or will continue to have the youngest, the younger generation in a lot. So, because the rest of the world is getting old, you guys, the youngsters of this country, are going to become the workforce of the world, not just India. Okay, because some of you will have this mindset, Parit Mursha, I want to go abroad. Some of you will have this mindset, Parit Mursha, I will join my father's or my mother's or my family business. And some of you will say, Parit Mursha, na sondama or business army. But that's fine. Each of you have different goals in life. And no one should come in the way of stopping those goals. If you have a passion, go for it. But what I am saying is, those of you who want to, achieve a lot of things. Or some of you will say, I will then start my own business. Whatever the case, India is going to become the workforce of the world. Okay. And for that to happen, we need to get many things correct. Number one, The universal language is English. Okay? And when I say English, just because you know a few words in English does not mean you're good in English. Just because you know to say hi, how are you, I'm fine, thank you, good night, that is not English. When I say good communication skills in the Dana Tarima, not even one grammar mistake, not even one pronunciation mistake. That is what good communication skills is. So again, உங்களால இங்கிலீஷ் பேச முடியும், அது நான் இல்லைன்னு சொல்லல, but கரெக்டா பேசுறீங்களா? That is the question. And the thing is, all of us come from different backgrounds. Okay, we have been brought up differently. We went to different schools. We had different teachers. We had different childhood. So each of us, our level of communication is different. Okay, I cannot say that all of us speak in English the same way. That's not true. Each of you have your own unique skill set. So some people can speak English well. Their grammar will be good, but their pronunciation will be bad. Some people, pronunciation is super, and grammar suttama varadu. So here is a fun question I'm going to ask you. Okay, I like to keep the sessions interactive, like I said. First, here's a question I want to ask. How many alphabets are there in English? Or how many alphabets is there in English? If you know the answer, please type the answer in the chat window. Again, the question is, how many alphabets is there in English? Again, unmute பண்ணாதீங்க. உங்களுக்கு ஆன்சர் தெரியும்னா please go ahead. Again, unmute பண்ணாதீங்க. உங்களுக்கு ஆன்சர் தெரியும்னா chat boxல போடுங்க. Okay, someone has said English 7 letters. Okay, the 7, 8 லாம் எங்க வருது? Okay. Unfortunately, not one person has given the correct answer. Okay? Not one person has given the correct answer. நிறைய பேர் 26 போட்டிருக்கீங்க, சில பேர் 8 போட்டிருக்கீங்க, சில பேர் 7 போட்டிருக்கீங்க. All of you are wrong. And will you accept it? Will you accept me saying that all of you are wrong? Okay, 9. Alphabet has 8. Okay, 6. Okay, let's stop. Okay, you can stop submitting the answers now. You can stop and listen to what I'm about to say. The question was, how many alphabet is there in English? It's not 26. It's not 9. It's not 8. It's not 6. It's not 5. There is only one alphabet in English. But there are 26 letters in the alphabet. But alphabet in Pathina, there is only one alphabet in English. And that alphabet has 26 letters. So now you've learned something new today, right? So someone asks you next time, how many alphabet in English? Your correct answer should be? What should your correct answer be? 1. And then you say, English has one alphabet, but it has 26 letters in the alphabet. Cool, good. I think this is the most interactive session I have attended. I have been with ICT Academy for more than 5 years. I would have visited at least 60 colleges on their behalf. But as of now, I'm proud to say that AIMAN College of Arts and Science for Women are the most interactive students I have ever interacted with. And to see such participation is awesome. Okay, I will remember this session for the rest of my life. So good. So like I said, just because you know how to say, okay, someone is asking what is that one alphabet letter, sir? No, English has one alphabet and the alphabet 26 letters is A, B, C, D, F, G. Alright, so now, how do we improve our communication? Right, so the question is, how do we improve our communication skills? என்ன பண்ணா communication skills improve பண்ணலாம்? நான் திருப்பி சொல்றேன், உங்களால இங்கிலீஷ் பேச முடியும், உங்களால இங்கிலீஷ் பேச முடியாதுன்னு நான் சொல்லல. But we all make mistakes when we talk because English is not our mother tongue. For some of you, Urdu is your mother tongue. For some of you, it's Hindi. Some of you, Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, Malayalam. So, English is not our mother tongue, but we need to be masters in it. If you want to grab the opportunities that will come in the future, English illama onnume mudiyadhu. Satyama solren, English illama nothing is possible. நீங்க நிறைய பேர் இது சொல்றது கேட்டிருப்பீங்க, இங்கிலீஷ் முக்கியம், இங்கிலீஷ் படி, இங்கிலீஷ்ல பேசு. பட் because you're students, generally, you have other priorities and focus on other things. But now, as a corporate, I'm telling you that without speaking fluent English, with confidence, with good flow, it will be very difficult to crack interviews. And of course, you have to undergo an interview regardless. Any company you go to, interview attend பண்ணியே ஆகணும். And நிச்சயமா உங்க level of communication சீரியஸா பார்ப்பாங்க. நீங்க எல்லா ரவுண்டும் கிளியர் பண்ணா கூட கம்யூனிகேஷன் ரவுண்ட் கிளியர் பண்ணலாட்டி அந்த வேலை போயிடும். And that is what is happening now. And like I said, நீங்க நியூஸ்ல நிறைய விஷயம் பாக்குறீங்க, இங்க வேலை போச்சு, கம்பெனி மூடுறாங்க. But there are still lots of opportunities. அந்த opportunities எப்பயுமே இருக்கும். அது காமிக்கிறது மீடியால. So you people think that it's ஐயோ things are bad. That's not true. Things are fine. It's nothing to worry about. But you need to be good in a few things. So how do we improve communication? என்ன செஞ்சா கம்யூனிகேஷன் படிக்கலாம்? இப்ப நான் உங்களை இங்கிலீஷ் புக்கை திறக்கணும்னு சொல்லல. Learn what is articles. Do you remember articles? What are the articles in English? What are the 3 articles in English? Okay, good. Can anyone tell me what is subject-verb agreement? Can anyone tell me what is subject-verb agreement? Subject-verb agreement. Articles sonone ellarum tak nu badal soninga. But if I ask you what is subject-verb agreement, can anyone tell me? Okay, no one is stopping from the an and the. People are still going behind it. Good. Verb describes action. I know what a verb describes. I think we all know what a verb is. The question is, do you know what is subject-verb agreement? If English you have something called subject. Subject is who you're talking about. They, we, she, it, my phone, my cup. These are all subjects. Okay. But if your subject is singular, the verb should be, there you go. Perfect. Someone got it. Janatul. So, a lot of people will say they hasn't. But the correct answer is they haven't. Okay. Some people will say you has instead of you have. So those are subject-verb agreements. And then you have, of course, tenses: past, present, future. Past tense is things that happen in the past. Present is what is happening regularly. Future is what is going to happen. Present continuous is what's happening right now. So I'm not conducting an English lesson, but I'm telling you that these are all need of the hour, being good in these concepts. So how do we improve our communication? In life, okay, in life, whenever you decide to, develop a skill or become good at a skill, when you are going to learn a skill, so when you are going to, learn a skill, or if you're going to improve a skill, you will go through 4 stages. Okay, you will go through 4 stages. Okay, and I can type. It's not that I can't type, but I'd like to keep you guys involved. So I'm going to say 4 words, and I need your help to type it so that others can also see. So there are 4 stages when it comes to learning. When you learn a skill, there are 4 stages. Stage number 1: unconsciously incompetent. Can someone type that for me, please? Because I have 3 chat windows. I can't type for all 3. Unconsciously incompetent. Yeah. I requested that they tell me before they mute me. No, it's okay. Neenga mute panadla, no problem, because I know that it affects the flow of my thing. But நீங்க சொன்னீங்கன்னா எனக்கு ஞாபகம் ஒரு அன்மியூட் பண்ணணும், இல்லாட்டி சில சமயம் நான் பாட்டு பேசினே இருப்பேன் and மியூட்ல இருப்பேன். Anyway, again, can all of you please help me with unconsciously incompetent? Incompetent. Okay, Monisha has helped me. Thank you, Monisha. I will just take yours and type it in all the windows. Okay, now unconsciously incompetent may sound like a very tongue twister. Enna indha vaartha indha mari vaartha na kelvi pattade kadiyadu. It's actually very simple. Okay, chinna vayasla when you are 3 years old, okay, 3-4 years old, 3 years 4 years age mother, do you know what a car or a bike is? Car bike na theriyuma ungalku enadhu ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க. You are 3 or 4 years old. Okay, when you are 3 or 4 years old, you don't know what a car or a bike is. Maybe car bike la perpinga, but you don't know what it is. And that is what you call unconsciously incompetent. Unconscious matlab ungalku an unconsciously you don't know what it is. Incompetent means not being able to operate, not being able to use a car or a bike. That is what unconsciously incompetent is. It means you don't know about something and you don't know how to use that also. Then you become 10 years old. Okay, when you're 10 years old, at this age, you are consciously incompetent. Okay, can someone type that for me, please? You are now in the second stage. You are 10 years old. You are now consciously incompetent. Okay, can someone type that for me, please? Consciously incompetent. So when you're 10 years old, you have become consciously incompetent. What that means is, when you're 10 years old, okay, I know what a car or a bike is, but I still don't know how to use the car or the bike. So I'm conscious. Conscious எனக்கு தெரியும் இது bike இது car, but incompetent, use பண்ண தெரியாது, because you're still young. Then you become 18 years old. Okay, when you become 18 years old, you are consciously competent. Okay, so now you know what a car or bike is. That's the third stage. You are consciously competent. Consciously competent. So that is the third stage. I am 18 years old. Okay, I know what a car or a bike is, but I still don't know, and I know what a car or a bike is, and I now know how to use the car and bike also, because you're 18 years old. You would have learned. That is consciously competent. So now I know this is a car, this is a bike, and I know how to use a car, use a bike. But this is India, okay? When you drive a car or ride a bike or a scooter or a scooty in this country, it's like chess. Chess is a beauty another. Ninga chess velarache, you should think what you are going to do. You should also anticipate what the other person is going to do, and that is how driving a car or riding a bike in India is. Okay, and at least in Tamil Nadu, traffic is a lot better than some of the other states that I have visited. Okay, and I think Trichy is lovely for driving. But nevertheless, நம்ம ஊர்ல traffic இருக்கு. So நம்ம first bike ஓட்டுறச்சே கார் ஓட்டுறச்சே கொஞ்சம் பயந்து தான் ஓட்டுவோம், கரெக்டா? பிகாஸ் நம்மளுக்கு அது ஒன்றும் ஆகக்கூடாது, பிளஸ் மற்றவங்களுக்கும் ஒன்றும் ஆகக்கூடாது, அந்த பயம் இருக்கும். பிகாஸ் traffic in India is unpredictable, right? So பயந்துட்டே கார் ஓட்டுவீங்க, பயந்துட்டே டூ வீலர் ஓட்டுவீங்க, ஏன்னா you still don't have that confidence. Okay, that is the third stage, consciously competent. So அந்த third stage போது ஒரு கார் ஓட்டுறச்சே இல்லாட்டி ஒரு டூ வீலர் ஓட்டு நிறைய வாட்டி யோசிப்பீங்க, பிரேக் அடிக்கிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி, இண்டிகேட்டர் போடுறதுக்கு முன்னாடி, கிளட்ச் அமுக்கிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி, கியர் மாத்துறதுக்கு முன்னாடி. ஸோ எவ்ரி டிசிஷன் யூ மேக் ஒரு 4-5 வாட்டி யோசிப்பீங்க அதை பத்தி பண்ணறதுக்கு முன்னாடி. பட் தென் யூ கெட் டு அ fourth stage, which is unconsciously competent. That is the fourth stage, unconsciously competent. All right, from being nervous, you become okay. Someone asked me why I speak in Chennai language. I don't really know how to respond to that question. I am from Chennai and my Tamil is limited, so this is the best I can do. Even though my mother tongue is Tamil, I learned Tamil after coming to Chennai because I lived overseas all my life. So konjam manikano en Tamil seriya illati, but I am trying. So anyway, the thing is, you have come to the fourth stage, that you are now unconsciously competent. இதுக்கு அர்த்தம் என்னன்னா, இப்போ நீங்க வண்டி ஓட்டுறச்சே hands and legs will automatically move on their own. You will have this natural connection with the vehicle. ஈஸியா ஓட்ட முடியுது உங்களால. இப்போ நீங்க யோசிக்க வேணாம், பைக்ல ஏறி உட்கார்ந்தோடனே ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா you will just start moving because you are not scared anymore. So how do you get to that fourth stage? On the fourth stage வரதுக்கு, on the third stage then the fourth stage வரதுக்கு, what is the key ingredient? How do you go from being a nervous person to a confident person? There is something that is needed to ensure you go from nervous to confident. What is needed? Enna panna you can go from nervous to confident. Exactly. And you must have all heard the saying, practice makes man perfect. And training, yes, but not training kudta kuda, I can only show you what is right and wrong. Adoda ye vela mudinjithu. But then unga vela enna adu practice pannadhu. That is why a training is only successful if you follow what you learn in a training. Your college, ICT Academy can conduct hundreds and thousands of training sessions for you. Okay? They can conduct thousands of training sessions for you. But the idea is you can only become good if you start, utilizing and implementing what you learned in the training program. More training program, it's not going to help. You have to practice. That is the only way you become good. So, now for the ideas that I'm going to share with you now, it's up to you. My job is to tell you what is right and wrong. But if you really fear for the future, if you really want to improve yourself, as long as you do some level of practice, you can talk just like me. Okay, I'm not saying na banda mari pesra na periyalu indha mari, but I did certain things in my life to be able to talk like this. And if you apply the same thing, you too can talk like me. Okay, so it's very simple. Number one, communication. 4 stages of learning. Problem now is you are all in stage 2. Okay, you know what is good communication skills. Nare per nalla pesada paathirpinga, but how do I speak like this person or that person? So the question is, one second. I'm just going to turn off my video for a quick second, Alan. I will turn it back on in about 5 minutes. Okay? Right. So is my video off, everybody? Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to turn it off for a few minutes. I will turn it back on in some time. So I would like to thank Raisha for beautifully, consolidating the 3 stages of learning and sharing it in the group. And I will just copy paste that and share it with everybody to make a note of this. So right now, we are all in stage 2. And when I say we, because I would like to consider myself as part of you, so we are all in stage 2. Namalki ipo good communication na enadun theriyum, but we still don't know how to talk like that. So by the end of this conversation, I will bring you to stage 3. Now stage 3 eppadi varnu na ipo solliduven. Adukaprom enna mari nalla pesadhukku, which is stage 4, and the practice irukku. Okay, ipo problem enna na English if I suggest to all of you, you have to speak in English. You will say, I can't sir, na English la pesna your friends la enna kalaipanga. Is that true? Is that correct? Isn't that correct? If you speak too much English, your friends will make fun of you, right? So on the bayatiliye, okay, some people said no. Maybe when you are studying, BA English literature or BE English, maybe you have to speak in English, so it's not a concern. But generally, you speak too much English, they will make fun of you left, right, and center. So when I joined ALSEC in 2007, I've been with ALSEC since 2007. And when I joined ALSEC in 2007, எனக்கு Tamil avlo varla. Okay, my mother tongue is Tamil, and one thing you guys should know is my native is Tirunelveli. Okay, that's where I'm originally from. Okay, that's where I'm born and I wasn't born and brought up there, but my roots, my hometown is Tirunelveli. So
you know, when people say நீ தமிழன் தானே, why aren't you speaking தமிழ்ல பேசு, தமிழ் பேச தெரியாதா, பயங்கரமா கலாய்ப்பாங்க. எனக்கு ஏன்னா தமிழ் வரல அப்போ, ஏன்னா பிறந்து வளர்ந்தெல்லாம் வெரி ஊர்ல. and I only came back to you know India to Chennai in 2007. and 2007 சென்னை வந்ததுக்கப்புறம் ஒரு 2 monthsலயே ஆல்செக்க சேர்ந்துட்டேன். ஸோ சின்ஸ் தென் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒரு 2-3 வருஷம் பயங்கரமா கலாய்ச்சாங்க. ஓகே, நானும் ஐ மேனேஜ், ஐ ஜஸ்ட் ஐ பிட் த புல்லட் அண்ட் ஐ அக்செப்டட். ஓகே, என்ன பண்ணாலும் கலாய்க்க தான் போறாங்க, யூனோ மத்தவால மாத்த முடியாது, let me at least try to change myself. So நான் என்ன பண்ணேன், so I started watching a lot of எனக்கு தமிழ் இப்ப கூட படிக்க தெரியாது, பட் தமிழ் படம் நிறைய பார்க்க ஆரம்பிச்சேன். எப்பெல்லாம் முடிஞ்சதோ ரிலேட்டிவ்ஸ் அண்ட் ஃபேமிலியோட இங்கிலீஷ்ல தமிழ்ல பேச ட்ரை பண்ணேன். அப்படி பேசி 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 ஓரளவுக்கு இப்ப நான் மேனேஜ் பண்ண முடியும். இப்போ ஓரளவுக்கு பேசவும் முடியும். பட் இப்ப கூட அந்த சன் டிவி நியூஸ்ல பேசுற தமிழ் எனக்கு புரியாது. பட் இந்த பேசிக் தமிழ் என்னால பேச முடியும். ஓகே, so this is because I said, okay, if the others are not going to change and accept me for who I am, I will change and become accepted. So I learned how to speak, and now I can manage. Yeah, that is pure Tamil. I cannot understand that, so sadly it does become a little bit of a trouble. So what I'm going to suggest you now to improve your communication is we are going to take something called smart work approach. Okay, so there are two ways to approach something, right? There is hard work and there is smart work. ஒரு காலத்துல hard work பண்ணாதான் நம்ம முன்னேற முடியும்னு சொல்வாங்க நம்ம கிட்ட. But now the situation is hard work பண்ணா நீ useless. Most companies will say, I don't want hard workers, I want smart workers. Okay, so how do you be a smart worker, and do you know the difference between hard work and smart work? Is there anyone here who can tell me the difference between hard work and smart work? யாருக்காவது வித்தியாசம், difference தெரியுமா? Difference between hard work and smart work. Okay, so I'll give you a few examples. Alan, we are okay for time, right? I still have an hour, correct? Okay, perfect. Yeah, cool. So all of you okay? I'm not going too fast for you, right? So far so good. You're able to follow me. You guys are having a good time? Good. So here's an example that I figured out after watching the movie. In the example வந்து நண்பன் பார்த்து கத்துண்டேன். Okay, I think a lot of Vijay fans here, right? Vijay fans நிறைய பேர் இருப்பீங்களே. Yeah, நான் எவ்வளோ கேள்வி கேட்டேன், ஆனா விஜய் சார் சொன்ன போது மட்டும் எல்லாரும் ஆன்சர் பண்றீங்க. That is youth. ஆனா உங்களை நான் பாராட்டணும். ஏன் தெரியுமா, எனக்கு விஜய் பிடிக்கும், இஸ் a good actor. பட் இவ்வளவு பெரிய ஃபேன் பேஸ் இருப்பாங்க நான் எதிர்பார்க்கல. ஏன்னா சுறா மாதிரி ஒரு படம் பண்ணக்கு அப்புறம் கூட நீங்க இன்னும் ஃபேன்ஸா இருக்கீங்க பாரு, நீங்க ட்ரூலி கிரேட். ஓகே, so you guys are truly great to still like him after Sura. But no, he's a very talented actor. This is just a joke. So ரெண்டு மூணு காலேஜ்ல இந்த மாதிரி இந்த ஜோக் சொன்னதுக்கு அப்புறம் கொஞ்சம் பசங்க கோவப்பட்டுட்டாங்க. So again நான் இப்பவே சொல்றேன், he's a good actor, I'm just joking. Okay, I'm just trying to brighten the mood. Okay, yeah, he's a decent actor. Anyway, நண்பன்ல if you remember, அந்த சத்யராஜ் வந்து அந்த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் கிட்ட இன்டராக்ட் பண்ணச்சு ஒரு பென்னு காமிப்பார். நோட்டீஸ் பண்ணீங்களா? அந்த பென்னு வந்து ஒரு ஸ்பெஷல் பென். அந்த பென்னால என்ன பண்ண முடியும்? What can you do with that pen? What is that pen special for? Akka, what is that pen special for? Yeah, it's a space pen. It can write in space. And why do you need a pen that can write in space? Because everything in this world runs on the concept of gravity. So even if you take something as simple as a pen and you break it down, you see a normal, ballpoint pen will have several components to it. So you have the cap to keep the ink, nice and wet. You have the outer hard plastic shell, and then inside the hard plastic shell, you have a small thin plastic tube with liquid ink. Now, the only way that pen can write is if gravity pushes the ink down and the ink touches the nib. And the nib ink tottadan எழுத முடியும். But space la gravity கிடையாது. So gravity இல்லாதனால nothing is pushing the ink to the nib. Correct? Ink nibக்கு push ஆனாதானே எழுத முடியும். But gravity இல்லாத இடத்துல the ink is not being pushed. So the pen does not write. So இது actually ஒரு உண்மையான கதை. You know, in the 1960s, there were two countries that were fighting for the space race. Okay? They were fighting for the space race. Both countries were saying, Nana ultimate country, and Nana first space ku pona. US என்ன பண்ணாங்க, நீ ஸ்பேஸ்க்கு தான போன, நான் ஒரு ஆளை மூன்லயே வைக்கிறேன்ட்டு they put a man on the moon. Then Russia did something, then US did something, இந்த மாதிரி சண்டை போட்டுட்டே இருந்தாங்க. It is called the Cold War, and it was called a space race. Whoever could conquer space was, going to be deemed the winner. So during this time, on that time, idu pathila yosikla. So udaney they sent people to space. Space ku ponamo, when you go, people who go to space are called astronauts. And when you are an astronaut, you have to do a lot of paperwork. Nariya reports எழுதணும், nariya documents எழுதணும். So pennu வேலை செய்யலாட்டி ஒண்ணுமே எழுத முடியாது. So first time போன ஆளுங்க, when they came back to Earth, they complained to their government, இந்த மாதிரி எங்களை ஸ்பேஸுக்கு அனுப்பிச்சிங்களே, ஆனா யோசிக்காம எங்களை அனுப்பிச்சிட்டீங்க, பெண்ணே வேலை செய்ய மாட்டேங்குது, நாங்களாம் எப்படி எழுதுறது? உடனே ஒன் கண்ட்ரி சார், சரி பரவாயில்ல, எவ்வளவு செலவானாலும் பரவாயில்ல, இருக்கிறதுலயே பெஸ்ட் மைண்ட்ஸ வந்து ஒரு R&D, what is R&D, right? What is R&D? Can anyone tell me what is R&D? Okay, I'll type it in the chat window. R&D. It is a little bit of a very, it's kind of a commonly used engineering terminology, but R&D stands for research and development. Okay, so both, so the astronauts came back. One government said, எவ்வளவு செலவானாலும் பரவாயில்ல, பெஸ்ட் பசங்களை ஒரு R&D டீம்ல போட்டு அவங்கள டெவலப் பண்ண சொல்லுங்க ஒரு பெண்ணை that can write in space. So this government spent a lot of money, they spent a lot of time, and finally after some time they devised a pen that could write in space and underwater. But it took them time and they spent a lot of money. The other government said, இவ்வளவு ஏன் கஷ்டப்படுறோம், and this joke comes in நண்பன், இவ்வளவு ஏன் கஷ்டப்படுறோம், சிம்பிளா ஒரு பென்சில் அனுப்பு. பென்சிலுக்கு கிராவிட்டி தேவைப்படுமா படாதா? Do you need a pencil for, does pencil work on the concept of gravity? No, it doesn't. You don't need gravity for a pencil to work. So that was a very nice example that I found of hard work versus smart work. If you think differently, if you're someone who can, well, you can just take some 10-20 pencils all sharpened and go to space. So you don't have to sharpen it in space, right? But the idea behind it, right? The idea behind it is, you had two governments. One took the hard work approach, one took the smart work approach. What I'm trying to show you here, end of the result, the end result is both of them achieved the result. What was the result? Something that can write in space. Both of them achieved it, right? And that is what hard work and smart work is. Hard work you achieve results varum, smart work you varum, but smart work la you can achieve results with less effort and less time. So there is an app. Now a lot of times when you go for job interviews, they will be very curious, and in the interview they will try to understand if you know what is happening around the world. Now today if I ask you, Google panname, and I know Google is now the answer for everything, but how many of you can tell me now, without Googling, what is the latest news in Australia? Is there anyone here that can tell me? What is the latest news in Australia? Okay. Can anyone tell me what is the latest news in New Zealand or in Canada or in the US? See, that's the problem we have right now. So maybe one or two people here know what is happening, but predominantly people don't. We are so focused on what's happening in only our country that we have stopped focusing on what's happening in other countries, and that's very important. You need to know almost everything that's happening or major news, that's happening in other countries. Now, I know all of you have social media, right? All of you will probably have an Instagram account or a Facebook account, or you're active on WhatsApp. But some of you, okay, maybe not all of you, but most of you have some form of a social media account. And social media for a lot of people is addictive. And that's not bad. I mean, you need to have something to help you spend time, pass the time. But the thing that you have to remember is there are other ways you can even make boring things addictive. I know it's very difficult to make something boring addictive. But would you believe me if I told you that there is an app now that has made news addictive? Okay? Would you believe that? And I learned about Chadwick Boseman through that app. And that app, I'm going to share it with you now. Okay? I'm going to put it in the chat window. It's called In Short. Okay? Would you believe that this is an app that has made news addictive? Because the beauty of this app is it will come as feeds, and it will have the topic with a picture, and the news will be only 60 words. 60 words அழகா அந்த விஷயத்தை சம்மரைஸ் பண்ணி போட்டிருப்பாங்க. நான்லாம் ஒரு 5-10 நிமிஷத்துக்கு ஒரு வாட்டி நான் அடிக்கடி அந்த ஆப்பை ரிஃப்ரெஷ் பண்ணி பார்த்துட்டே இருப்பேன். That latest update வந்திருக்காங்க. That's how addicted this app has gotten me. Okay, so I constantly keep refreshing to see if there's any news. Okay, and when you log into the app or when you sign into the app, it will ask you what are your favorite topics. So you can say, எனக்கு இந்த டாபிக் பிடிக்கும், டெக்னாலஜி பிடிக்கும், எனக்கு climate பத்தி நியூஸ் பிடிக்கும். So you can say these are my favorite topics, and based on that, it will tell you இன்னைக்குலாம் என்ன நியூஸ் நேத்திக்கு. I mean, it's a feed. So you just swipe up to keep changing the news. Okay, I would suggest all of you to install it, and it's a great way to keep yourself updated with what's happening around the world. At the same time, it's one of the smart ways to improve your communication because you are exposing yourself to English. Now, that brings me to my next point. Install In Short. Believe me, you will thank me later on. The next thing that I want to point out is how many of you here have the habit of reading the newspaper every day? How many of you have the habit of reading the newspaper every day? And when I say newspaper, I don't mean Dinamala, Dinatandi. No, I'm talking about English newspaper. Okay, so if you look at me, okay, even though I studied abroad in Sydney and Abu Dhabi, my communication is not because I studied in a British school. I have friends now also who studied with me that can't speak English. So, உடனே சொல்லக்கூடாது நீங்க வெளியூர்ல படிச்சீங்க அதனால தான் உங்களுக்கு இங்கிலீஷ் நல்லா வருது. Actually, that's not true. எங்க அப்பா என்ன ஒரு விஷயத்த பண்ண வச்சாரு, 4 வருஷமா பண்ண வச்சாரு. அந்த 4 வருஷம் இது பண்ணனால தான் I'm able to speak English like this today. He would make me read the newspaper from class 8 to class 12. And the class 8 to class 12 வரைக்கும் என்ன தினமும் இங்கிலீஷ் நியூஸ்பேப்பரை படிக்க வச்சார். நான் அழுதுண்டே இருப்பேன், ஐயோ இப்படி பண்ண வைக்கிறாருன்ட்டு. ஏன்னா நியூஸ் பேப்பர்ங்கிறது இட்ஸ் a lot of pages, right? And it's a lot of words. And I would have to read the newspaper, and end of the day எங்க அப்பா கிட்ட நான் சொல்லணும் இன்னைக்கு என்னெல்லாம் ஆச்சு நியூஸ்ல. That is the way that is the proof that இன்னைக்கு நான் நியூஸ் பேப்பர் படிச்சேன். Okay, and அவர் ஆல்ரெடி படிச்சு முடிச்சிருப்பாரு நியூஸ் பேப்பர். ஸோ திடீர்னு கேள்வியும் கேட்பாரு, சரி இந்த ஊர்ல என்ன ஆச்சு, இங்க என்ன ஆச்சு, and I have to answer. If I don't answer, that means I didn't read it. And because he made me read the newspaper every day, the way I communicate today is because of that only, no other reason. See, the thing is, first of all, I'm going to, of course, suggest to take up the habit of reading the newspaper. And my suggestion to you is the Times of India. The problem with Hindu is the Hindu is a little complicated, but Times of India is simple, good English. Okay, and I would suggest you all to take up a habit of either downloading or going to the Times of India website and read the news there, and spend at least an hour or 45 minutes to an hour and go through what's happening, or buy the newspaper. The experience is a lot fun when you actually buy the newspaper, have it in your hand, and you read the paper. And the thing with Times of India is the English is crisp and to the point. And I know it's difficult to start something now. And the thing with us is humans. The problem is something as simple as a diet. Diet எடுத்தீங்கன்னா you will say சரி நான் இன்னிலேருந்து டயட்ல இருக்கேன். ஓகே நான் இன்னைக்கு டயட், நாளைக்கு டயட், நாளான்னைக்கு டயட். ஒரு 4-5 நாள் சூப்பரா டயட் பண்ணுவீங்க. 6வது நாள் வந்து நீங்க என்ன சொல்வீங்க, சரி 5 நாள் டயட் பண்ணோமே, இன்னைக்கு வந்து கொஞ்சம் என்ஜாய் பண்ணலாம். Cheat day and the cycle break. Okay, and then you lose motivation. To keep yourself motivated, you need to do this every day. And the studies have shown that if you take up something new and you do it continuously for 21 days, it will become a habit. ஒரு விஷயத்தை நீங்க இன்னைக்கு ஆரம்பிக்கிறீங்க, அது 21 days விடாம பண்றீங்கன்னா 21st day it will become a habit. And ஒரு விஷயம் habit ஆனதுக்கு அப்புறம் it will become a part of your life and you will continue to do it. And if you continue doing it for 90 days, it will become a lifestyle. Okay? So 21 days you do something, it becomes a habit. 90 days kapro, it becomes a lifestyle. Okay? And that is what you need to do. 21 days and 90 days. You do this and believe me, you will speak as good as me. But the problem, because you are in first year, don't delay. You have 3 years time. In this 3 years time, you can do wonders to yourself and become untouchable. Okay? Nobody can mess with you. You will become, you will be on the top of the food chain. So remember that. Hit the 90 days and it becomes a part of your lifestyle, and every day you will read the newspaper. And remember what I said, Times of India. Now, maybe now, இன்னைக்கு வந்து ஓகே நீங்க உங்ககிட்ட you will tell yourself, okay, வசந்தன் ஒருத்தர் பேசினாரு, நியூஸ் பேப்பர் படிக்க சொன்னாரு, சரி நாளே நியூஸ் பேப்பர் படிக்கிறேன். Maybe first அந்த நியூஸ் பேப்பர் படிக்கச்சே some words you will not understand, some sentences you may not follow. But as you read it, as you do it every day, you will start learning new words, and that is a way to improve your vocabulary. Okay, that is a great way to improve your vocabulary. And what is vocabulary? Vocabulary is nothing but the database of words that you have in your mind, right? And then eventually, as you learn new words, you will also start learning how to frame sentences correctly. You will start to learn how to frame sentences correctly. And that is, of course, at the end of the day, what grammar is all about. You will start learning how to frame sentences correctly. Because as you read sentences, you will start to replicate it. And that is the beauty of the newspaper. Alright? So remember that. Make it a habit to read the newspaper. I've turned my video back on. Is everyone able to see me? Okay, cool. So yeah, so that's something that's very important. So do take it up. Start reading the newspaper every day. And there's another thing you have to keep in mind. See, English is a different language. Tamil is a different language. Urdu is a different language. Kannada, Malayalam, Telugu, they're all different languages. And they have different grammar rules. Grammar is nothing but the rules one must follow when speaking a language. Right? So they all have different grammar rules. You cannot assume that English and Tamil, the grammar is different. It's not. And நிறைய பேர் என்ன தப்பு பண்றாங்கன்னா, இங்கிலீஷ்ல பேசச்சே அவங்க சொல்ல போறத தமிழ்ல யோசிப்பாங்க, அதுக்கப்புறம் அதை அப்படியே டிரான்ஸ்லேட் பண்ணி சொல்லுவாங்க. ரிமெம்பர், இங்கிலீஷ் இஸ் a different language. இங்கிலீஷ் பேசச்சே you should also think only in English, not in your mother tongue. அப்படி பண்ணீங்கன்னா your language will come out incorrectly. Okay, I will give you an example that happened to me once. Okay, so 7-8 years back when I was a trainer, I had this ஒரு trainee வந்து என்கிட்ட பேசினார். And என்கிட்ட என்ன சொன்னாரு, சார் நீங்க தான் எங்க ட்ரெயினரா? ஆமாப்பா சார், we are very given and kept to have you as our trainer. என்னது given and kept? And I was like, இதென்ன புதுசா இருக்கு, given and kept? And I'm a language trainer. எனக்கு My belief is I know at least most of the things in English. ஆனா இந்த given and kept-ங்கிறது நான் கேள்விப்பட்டதே கிடையாது. And I got confused. ஒரு நானும் ஓகேடா தேங்க்யூ அமிச்சிட்டேன் அவனை ஏதோ தெரிஞ்ச மாதிரி. பட் ஒரு 2-3 நாள் இந்த given and kept யோசிச்சுட்டே இருந்தேன். இதுக்கு அர்த்தம் என்னது? எல்லார்கிட்டையும் கேட்டேன், யாருக்குமே பதில் வரல. ஒரு 4 நாள் கழிச்சு அவனை கூப்பிட்டு I asked him, அன்னைக்கு given and kept நீ அதுக்கு அர்த்தம் என்னது? சார் உங்களுக்கு given and kept தெரியாதா? நீங்க ரொம்ப கொடுத்து வச்சிருக்கீங்க. அத அப்படியே இங்கிலீஷ்ல டிரான்ஸ்லேட் பண்ணி என்கிட்ட சொல்லியிருக்கான். அண்ட் அந்த மாதிரி நிறைய விஷயத்த டிரான்ஸ்லேட் பண்றாங்க. அண்ட் யூனோ you should never do that. Okay, remember that when you think in English or when you speak in English, you must also think in English. Do not think in any other mother tongue. So I have told you how to improve your grammar, how to improve what is happening in the world, in shorts, newspaper. Now, how do you improve your pronunciation? The best way is to actually talk. But na ipo unga pesa sonna kuda neenga yarum pesa podilla ena ellarum kalaipanga. Okay, maybe the BA English people are lucky because they can speak in English, but you know, not all of you are that lucky. So the best way is try watching a lot of these English programs. Alright, I would suggest you to cut down on regional content. Stop watching, you know, regional TV programs and regional movies. I know movies are a big part of our life, and it's actually part of our culture. You know, Tamil movies. But I would suggest you to cut down, okay, cut down and start exposing yourself to a lot of English programs, English movies, English documentaries. See, traditionally, American English is easier because British is a little complicated if you are talking about accent. But it doesn't matter. Just listen to how they pronounce it and replicate it. Try practicing, you know, those words. That's a great way to improve your pronunciation. Okay, because pronunciation is also important. Each of us have different accents. Accent would have meaning anything theriyuma. Sala per nenapanga accent na vellakara mari pesathu. That's actually not true. Accent is pronunciation, and each of us have different pronunciation. Like for example, Tamilliye nariya accent irukku. Like some people will say vaazhai param, some people will say vaalapalam, some people will say veedu, some people will say woodu, some people will say mala peyyirudhu, some people will say mala peyyudhu. Okay, and you know, you have different pronunciations in Tamil itself. So every language has its own you know, pronunciation and accents. But the thing is, I'm not asking any of you to speak an American accent or British accent. You need to speak in something called neutral accent. And the MTI, English the MTI no concept irukku, mother tongue influence. Mother tongue influence is when our mother tongue influences the way we pronounce English words. Adu irukka koodadhu. So the pronunciation should be neutral. And the best way you can improve your pronunciation is watch a lot of these English programs. In the regional programs, Tamil programs, Urdu, Kannada, Tamil, you know, Malayalam, அந்த ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் படத்தெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் நிறுத்துங்க ஆர் கட் டவுன் பண்ணுங்க. ஃபோக்கஸ் மோர் ஆன் இங்கிலீஷ் ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் பிகாஸ் யூஆர் ஒன்லி இன் யுவர் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இயர். ஸோ டைம் இருக்கு அந்த இம்ப்ரூவ்மெண்ட்காக. ஸோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்கில், கம்யூனிகேஷன் ஸ்கில், வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். ஓகே, திஸ் இஸ் வாட் வில் லே த ஃபவுண்டேஷன் ஆஃப் யுவர் ஃபியூச்சர். நம்பர் 2, have you heard of this concept in Hindi called jugaad? Jugaadனா என்னதுன்னு தெரியுமா? நம்ம ரைட் நவ இப்போ பண்றது jugaad. This is a beautiful example of jugaad. So, can anyone tell me what is jugaad? I have 3 chat windows and I'm curious to see if anyone can tell me what is jugaad. Anybody know what is jugaad? Okay, yaarkum tharla podudhu. So, do you know what is thinking out of the box? Do you know what is thinking out of the box? Thinking out of the box is when you think differently. If there are 100 people in the room, I'll give you an example. You know, 100 people are attending an interview. Okay? 100 people are attending an interview. Nowadays, the company will not say, okay, எப்படியாவது இந்த 100 பேரை நம்ம கம்பெனில ஜாயின் பண்ண வைக்கணும். நோ. இதுல யார் வித்தியாசமா இருக்கான், யார் வித்தியாசமா யோசிக்கிறான், அவனை தான் எடுப்பாங்க இப்ப வேலைக்கு. அந்த மாதிரி நிலைமையில இருக்கும். So, yes, exactly. Like Haji said, thinking uniquely, thinking differently. That is what is called out of the box thinking. If you have a problem in front of you, Don't be like the 99 people who will give the same, solution. Be that one person who gives a different solution. Like what happened today? Google Meet allows a maximum of 100 participants or 150 or whatever. But there are more than that as students. So how do we solve this? We create 3 links and run 3 links simultaneously. That is Jugaad, thinking differently. You had a problem. The problem was Google Meet only allows 100 or 150 people in one chat, in one session. But there are more than 150. So what do? We create 3 separate meetings and give, in the 100 பேருக்கு இந்த link, in the 100 பேருக்கு இந்த link, in the 100 பேருக்கு இந்த link. And today we are able to run this session successfully without any problem. So somebody had thought of this idea, right? Somebody had thought of this idea and it worked. Exactly. So this is what is called Jugaad, thinking differently. Okay. So the second most important skill is be a different thinker. Do not be the person who thinks like the rest. Companies want people who think differently. That's very important. And I'll give you 2 examples of, actually my favorite example is something that happened in Japan. So you guys have all heard of Lux soap, right? Have you guys heard of Lux soap? Yeah? Lux and Kame. Yeah, there you go. So similarly in Japan, there was this very famous soap manufacturing company. Okay? There was this very famous soap company, and the factory was like 60 years old. Okay, it's a very old factory. And they used to manufacture soap, and it was very popular in Japan. Okay, almost 70% of the population in Japan used to buy that soap. And like I said, the factory is an old factory. And what had happened was, off late, customers started complaining. And nowadays when you buy soap, you can buy soap as a single or you can buy it as a pack. And normally the pack will have 5-6 pieces of the soap. And customers started complaining that a few of the soap boxes did not have the soap inside. Soap is empty. Soap illa dabakulla. And somehow the factory came to know that, this is happening, that, supermarket, some of the boxes are empty. So they checked and they found that there was a problem in one of the machines in the factory. But the machine was old. So on the machine, it is spare part kadekadu. Adu maathavum mudiyadu because there is no way to do it. It's an old factory, so no more spare parts. Iniki 1975 bullet க்கு spare part கிடைக்காது. ரொம்ப தேடினா கிடைக்கும், but அதுவும் கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டம் தான். So similarly for this factory, they couldn't find spare parts to fix it. So they were like thinking, and all these management people of the factory, MD and managers, and they all sat in a meeting, and they were thinking, how do we solve this problem? And someone suggested, why don't we put an X-ray machine? So factory பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு production line மாதிரி தான். ஒரு இதுல ஆரம்பிச்சு போய் and then finally conveyor belts ல வெளில வரும். So அந்த conveyor belts ல வெளில வரச்சு, someone said அங்க ஒரு X-ray machine வைக்கலாம். அந்த X-ray machine தெரியும் பாக்ஸ் குள்ள சோப்பு போயிருக்கா இல்லையான்னு. And everybody said, yeah, that's a good idea, let's go ahead and do that. Then they saw the cost, and the cost of that X-ray was very expensive. And it will take time to install, and they have to close the factory for some time to install it. So a lot of headache. So இத பத்தி பேசச்சு கரெக்டா அந்த டைம்ல the tea boy who was serving the tea, Sharon, you spoiled it, Sharon, for me. But anyway, okay, at least only in one group. The others so far haven't figured it out. The tea guy, the guy who was serving the tea to all the managers and the MD, said, I have a solution for you. And he was like, don't need to close the factory, no need to search for spare part, no need for X-ray machine. Let's a fan aboard there. Put the fan and put it on full speed. And if an empty box passes through the fan, what will happen? When you have an empty box, a small empty box, that is passing through a fan, what will happen? And now it will fly. And when it flies, you will know, okay, this box does not have soap, so you can stop it from going to the shop or the supermarket.
And that's exactly what happened. So I don't really know if this is true or not. Many years ago, someone told me this story, and I always found it fascinating. Similarly, you know Maruti. All of you know Maruti, right? You guys know Maruti car? Yeah? So, which car of Maruti do you think was the most famous car? Which car of Maruti was the most popular? Can anyone tell me?
Maruti 800.
Okay, Suzuki is, yeah, Swift. Haji, again, thank you. Swift was actually Maruti's most popular car. And the demand for the Maruti car became so much that the waiting period became 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. And customers started complaining. 10 months ago, who will wait to get a car? 10 months later, and then they canceled the order also. That's when Maruti decided, oh my god, in the wait time, we are losing customers. I think we should immediately build a new factory. So for many years, Maruti had only one factory in Haryana. And that's when they decided, okay, we should build another factory. So they built another factory, and the calculation tappaayidhu. So ennachu, car factory pathina, it's again a production line. You have the body will go through the paint section, and AC section, and engine section, cosmetic, window, seat, apdi poite, kadaisiya car vella varum. And the car would come through a tunnel where it will be sprayed and cleaned. Okay? And the tunnel height konja thappa calculate panni install pannanga. So ennachu, car ella produce aanakaprom, ready aanakaprom vella varche, the roof of the car was slightly scratching the roof of the tunnel. And when you buy a new car, will you buy a car with a scratch? No, right? When you buy a car, you don't want a single scratch on it. Or a single scratch, munda kuda heart attack vandrum. Okay? So again, the factory was like, oh my god, how did this happen? And if on the tunnel replace fix pannanuna, factory konja naalukku close pannum. Okay, and that is not good for business. Again, delay and loss of production. So since the scratch was very feeble, it was felt that, what is the smartest thing? So hard work would mean close the factory, fix the problem. But that will cause delay in delivering the car. Again, a security overheard this and said, just reduce the air from the tire. Thank you, Ruxana. So if you reduce the air from the tire, what will happen? The height of the car will slightly drop, right? So if the height drops, it will then go through the tunnel comfortably. And that is what you call out-of-the-box thinking. And that is very important now. Always remember that when life presents you with a problem, do not try to solve it like the remaining 99 people. Be that person who answers it or who can come up with the solution differently. As Bill Gates once said, and I don't know if it's true or not, but someone shared me a meme on WhatsApp a few years back, and I still remember it. Somebody had asked Bill Gates, when you hire someone for your company, what kind of a person do you hire? And he said, I will always hire a lazy person because a lazy person can get a job done fast with less effort. That is how you need to be. Whenever you get work or whenever you find yourself in a situation where you need to solve something, find an alternative solution that is not like the rest of the folks. Companies appreciate people who think differently, so be a different thinker. Any of you here by any chance have a resume? Have you already made a resume? Anyone here already make a resume? I know you guys are only in the first year, but I'm just curious. Is there anybody here who can let me know if they have made a resume? Yeah, the resume vechirukkinga? Not yet. Okay. So as an HR, I have seen hundreds of thousands of resumes. Okay, and I know when somebody has copied a resume and when someone has been honest with the resume. And most people nowadays will copy resume from Google. Okay, that itself is the first mistake. If you're someone who copies your own, and resume is you on a piece of paper. That's what a resume is. A resume is you on a paper. So when I read your resume, I should know everything about you. But if you copy your resume from Google, then, and I know if you've copied it because I'm an HR. So I have seen so many resumes, so I know a resume that's been copied and a resume that's honest. And if a resume has been copied, immediately as an HR, I'm going to lose interest in you. Because I don't want someone so lazy who can't even make their own resume. I want someone who took the time and effort to make a resume that speaks to me. So I will tell you something. Resume is a skill. Being good in making a resume is a very important skill, because that also will define whether you get the job or not. Now, a lot of people think resume is more formality, and are actually not true. Resume is 30% of an interview. A good resume will help you get very far. Resume in Pathina, there are 5, and you're a fresher. Your resume should not be more than 1 page. Resume in Pathina will have 5 sections. Section number 1, it has something called, okay, I'm typing it for you. Okay, it has something called career objective. Is there anyone here who can tell me what is career objective? Okay, resume, yeah, we kind of figured it out, but is there anyone here who can tell me, because career objective is the first section of the resume, and can anyone tell me what is career objective? Very important. Career objective is nothing but what do you want to do with your life for the next 5 to 10 years. Okay? So it can say, yeah, exactly. What is your goal in life for the next 5 to 10 years? Okay? And that is what career objective is. And a lot of people will copy it. And copy good illa. Copy panite, there will be some words in that. Okay? And the word or meaning is copy பண்ணுவாங்க. Some people will say, I'm a very assertive person. Okay, assertive I don't know. These people will get rejected very quickly. Okay, so very important, your career objective, which is what is your goal in life for the next 5-10 years. That's career objective. Copy it. Next, put your education details. Okay, that's the second section. Education details, then the third section will be, any project that you did, any assignments that you did, things like that. Then the fourth section will be something called personal traits. What are your personal skills? Again, don't copy from the internet. Personal traits or personal skills are what skills you have that makes you different. And don't randomly put a skill. If a team leader, but they will say, I'm a good team leader. You can't say that, because when I'm interviewing you, I want to hear your life experience. So I will ask you, எப்பமா team leader இருந்திருக்க? அப்ப நீ வந்து நான் team leader இருந்ததே இல்லன்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. You have to give a life story. So if you say I am a good team leader, you should be able to tell me a life story where you have been a team leader. If you have never been in a team and you say I am a good team player, you are again lying. Okay, that's not good. So if you are someone who can work well in teams, you can say I am a good team player. But நீங்க நிறைய டீம்ல இருந்திருக்கணும். Because நான் கேட்பேன், உங்க லைஃப் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் கொஞ்சம் ஷேர் பண்ண முடியுமா? எப்பலாம் டீம்ல இருந்திருக்கீங்க? I am very good at motivating others. சும்மா போடக்கூடாது. If you are really good at motivating others, you should have life story. Okay. You can go on Google and see what are all the different personal traits. But சும்மா okay இதெல்லாம் நல்லா இருக்கு கேக்குறதுக்கு இது நம்ம ரெஸ்யூமேல போட்டீங்கன்னா நீங்க மாட்டீங்க. Go and see what are all the personal traits and see if you really have those personal traits. Put only that. Just don't randomly copy. And in the hobbies and interests, everybody will say, I like watching TV, I like listening to music, I like reading books. These are not hobbies. And every time, we all have HRs, okay? Most people will say watching TV, reading book, listening music. And those are not hobbies. Hobbies are what you do, that is passionate to you, that is close to your heart. This TV, music, books are things that you do when you're ready, when you have no job, bored. Okay, TV பார்க்கலாம். அது hobby கிடையாது. சில பேர் சொல்லுவாங்க இல்ல நான் books நிறைய படிப்பேன். If you can say okay, ஒரு வருஷத்துக்கு நான் 100 book படிக்கிறேன்னா அது ஒரு hobby. நீங்க போடலாம் ரெஸ்யூமேல. But if you are not someone who reads, just because you read 1 or 2 Chetan Bhagat books does not make you an active book reader. So you cannot say that is a hobby. hobbies are things that, are very passionate for you. For example, for me, one of my favorite hobbies is cooking, because I believe cooking is a great way to relieve the stress. It calms you down, and it's something that is very close to me. So I love to cook. So if someone asks me what is your hobby, I'll say I love to cook. I love to learn things on my own. Okay, like today, if you break an iPhone, or you break any phone for that matter, I can repair a phone, any phone. When you buy a phone and you drop the phone, the glass breaks, right? It's like a heart attack. Because when you go to the shop, he will tell you that you have to replace the glass and the display, and that's quite expensive. But I learned how to repair the phones on my own. So today, if you break an iPhone or any phone for that matter, I can close my eyes and repair it. You can actually go online and search in the Indian Express newspaper. There is an article about me, like how an HR manager repairs phone. So that is something that I passionately took interest. I with a lot of passion took interest in, and I learned on my own. I didn't go to any classes, and that's when I realized that I actually enjoy learning things on my own. So my second hobby is self-learning. So cooking, self-learning, going on long drives, gardening. These are my hobbies. You see how different and unique they are? Okay, it's not the same watching TV, listening music, reading books. And each of you will have different things. So how many of you here love photography? How many of you are good, at taking photographs? That is a hobby. You can put that as a hobby. How many of you love to garden? How many of you have a garden with flowers and vegetables? You can say, I love gardening. How many of you like playing video games? Playing video games is not wrong. You can say, I like playing video games. That's a hobby. So those are hobbies. Drawing, photography, exercising, working out, bikes. These are all hobbies. So remember that. So yeah, put those as your resume. Okay, in your resume. So resume building is a very important skill, because your resume has to be perfect. And remember, as pitching is it's a wonderful hobby. Playing with children is not a hobby per se, because you can't do it whenever you think. First of all, you need to have the children next to you to play. Right, but traveling, painting, these are all hobbies. So go ahead and put that. Okay, but don't put the TV and music and books, because you have to understand that your resume should make you stand out, should make you someone who gives this different appeal. Alright, so that's very important. Alright, so resume building is a very important skill. And the last thing that I will talk about is, a lot of people will say, I will take courses. In the 2-3 நாள் பண்ண கோர்ஸ்லாம் வேஸ்ட். ஓகே, ஒரு 2 நாள் கோர்ஸ் போறீங்க, அந்த 2 நாள் கோர்ஸ் முடிஞ்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் ஒரு சர்டிபிகேட் கொடுப்பாங்க. If you think that's going to help you, it's not. I'm telling you right now. There are so many courses you can do to improve, yourself. Just because somebody is saying 2 days course, 3 days course, to attend the course, don't think that is going to add value. Okay, it's not, because you can't really achieve much in 2 to 3 days. To be certified and good at something, you need to undergo a training program or a certification that will go at least for 1 month. அந்த மாதிரி கோர்சஸ் பண்ணுங்க. நிறைய பேர் கேட்பாங்க, இந்த சர்டிபிகேஷன்ஸ் பண்ணலாமா, கோர்சஸ் பண்ணலாமா, எக்ஸ்ட்ரா கோர்சஸ் பண்ணுங்க, தாராளமா பண்ணுங்க. பட் இந்த 1 நாள் 2 நாள் கோர்ஸ்லாம் பண்ணது do courses that will last 1 month, 2 months. Those are the skills that will, because your skills will improve when you do courses and certifications that are of a longer duration. Okay, so if you ask me, you get these 4 things right, your life is set. Good communication skills, thinking differently, out of the box thinking, or as I said, jugaad, and courses that last for more than at least 1 month. Those are the courses that will add value. Alright, and of course your resume. Don't copy from Google. Let your resumes be honest. Let your resumes be you. Alright. So on that note, I thank you all for patiently listening to me. It's been wonderful interacting with you. May the Almighty and God and all supreme beings bless you. God bless you all. Wish you the best of luck in life. Jai Hind. Yeah, please go ahead. I'm happy to answer any question.